Hey everyone, Jedi Mike 7 here, and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be going over the Prodigal Son and what most Christians fail to see, right? Before we get into the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, a comment, like, and share. I know I've been gone for a minute and trying to get this kind of schedule for school being situated, but I appreciate you guys' support, feedback, and staying with me. But yeah, guys, this topic is far overdue, and I really want to kind of talk about what most Christians fail to see. Well, most Christians fail to see about the story of the prodigal son, and also what most Christians and men can learn, right? And first of all, I'm just gonna go into it, and I thank you guys for your support, for staying with me. I thank you guys for I know I've been gone for about a week and a half or so, not posting anything. I've just been behind schedule, but I want to be consistent with this work because I'm very passionate about it. But I just want to say I appreciate you guys' support and guys, feedback, and make sure if you watch this in the pre-recording that you can also comment down below. Let me know what you think. Any constructive criticism about the topics or any you agree or disagree about what I'm about to go into. Please let me know. But first, we're going to go into about the prodigal son, right? So let's get into the video about that. All right, let me share the screen right here. All right. So first, what we're going to go over here, we're going to talk about prodigal son, and I'm going to go over to the verses here. It's in Luke 15:32, right? And I want to kind of go into scripture right here, right? So we're going to go over here. So talking about scripture, it says here, Luke 15:20-24 says this. So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The son said, "The father, I have sinned against heaven, against you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son." But the father said to his servants, "Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his fingers and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For the son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." Right. So with the context of this, right, basically was talking about here, right, is a point of talking about how the prodigal son, that the father, that one of the sons, that his sin was visible, right? He left off, he's going out doing crazy things in his life, and his sin was very visible, right? What he was going to do. However, one of the things that he was afraid of going back, being ridiculed and judged by his father. And I feel like a lot of Christians failed to see this point of view because and I'm going to my point is that we never put ourselves. There's two brothers here: is a son that who returned home and the one that remained home, right? But I think that Christians fail to put themselves in the shoes of what they put in reading the scripture, right? I think it's using it as a way of trying to deflect any type of responsibility and also accountability. But let's get back into it, right? Because it's going to go into the context of the son has returned home to his father, right? But now we're going to go back and go into what he's going to was saying here about how one of the things that the father or the other brother came back and said, "Hey, listen, father, why would you accept him? Why would you accept him back? He basically, he basically used all your money and everything. He basically bring dishonor to our family's name. Why do you open up a feast with them, right?" And the point of this, how you doing today? Good to see you. And the point of this is basically showing um, the fact that the prodigal son of the story about how saying the son was lost and how both sons were lost because the father said, "This is your son has returned home, rejoice," right? And I think what the point of view is that what Christians fail to see is that both sons were lost, right? We always say that one was lost out of the home, having his sin being visible, and the other son was lost who was within the home, and his sin was internal: pride, envy, jealousy, resentment against his brother. And I think the point of one is talk about how what most Christians see, they always want to put themselves in the, well, if I'm not the brother who's outside eating the pig pen, eating filth, then I'm fine. But on the contrary, most Christians actually, I believe, want to put themselves in position that do not want to put themselves in position of the second brother who is in the home with the father, ridiculing, condemning, and judging the brother from returning home, right? Because their sin is internal. A lot of Christians today their sin is not really visible. They try to hide it. Well, as long as you don't see my sin, well, then therefore I'm fine, right? As long as my sin is not visible, I'm fine. But they don't want to realize that their sin was internal. i.e., envy, jealousy, pride. I feel like a lot of Christians today, when we talk about the concept of what we believe in, is that we call ourselves being gracious people, but really we fail at that consistently because we as leaders not being what God has intended us to be, which is graceful people, right? But let's go back into this explanation right here. Talk about what the meaning of the prodigal son, right? That many have concluded that this parable about the oldest son rather than the prodigal, despite the diverse audience, Jesus was speaking directly to religious leaders and the teachers of the law. I'm gonna say that again. Jesus was speaking directly to the religious leaders and the teachers of the law. And I think the point about this is that he was aiming straight into the darkness of their heart, pleading with them to lay aside their trust in their own righteous works, right? And you see this a lot in churches today. Feel like, well, they think that they're basing their righteousness, in terms of what their works and stuff, who they are as people, right? Well, I'm the one who shows up on time. I'm the one who always sets up the chairs. I'm the one who always come into service on time and stuff. I'm the one who always praying. I'm the always one who's more effective in ministry. But yet, is God actually basing your righteousness on what you do or on who you are as a person? Now, this does not give you the excuse of saying that, well, because I'm a good person, therefore I can go out sin and do whatever I want. That's not the case. However, the problem is that a lot of Christians today, they base on their, and they basically say, well, if I'm have the presentation of being perfect, then therefore I'm good. But I don't want to be that other brother pigpen eating filth, which most of us, we've been in our lives, right? But us as Christians are supposed to be, when we say in the scripture, come as you are we really today's church? Are we actually walking that? That's what I saying that I think is very frustrating that us today as Christians, are we being who we are and open the doors to people and say, come as they are, come as you are. What it says in the word. No, absolutely not. Because I think today we become very corporate minded and very westernized in terms of the word of God, or against what he originally intended. Right. So, and I want to go into my next point, and what I want to talk about is right here, is that what Christians can learn. I think what Christians can learn, what most leaders, that if you're being in a position of being a leader, right, and being leading people, covering them, you have to make sure that you must be held to the highest standard of decorum, right? But the one thing that comes before anything is humbling yourself. A lot of us Christians today, we've become too prideful, I believe, right? And pride comes amongst the fall, and pride is the root of all sin. That's what the scriptures, what it says, right? Are we actually being servant leaders? And this is why I directed more to men. Are men today, are you actually being servant leaders to your community? Are you being servant leaders to, to people you're covering, i.e., your marriage with your wife, marriage, or being a father to your children? Or even if you don't have that, not at that stage in life, are you being a servant leader to people in your group, in your friend group? Are we being that today? That's why that's what most Christians can learn today. I don't think that today is that. No. Do you think that your righteousness is based on what you know? Well, I know all the scriptures based, I read all of Revelation, read all of Proverbs and all stuff, so I know more than you, right? That sounds very similar, doesn't it? It sounds similar to a Pharisaic type of mindset. Because remember back in the Pharisees, they thought they knew more than Jesus when he came and healing people, right? They said, no, we know what God's intended word is, but he was Jesus, he was healing people, and the Pharisees condemned them. Are Christians today, are we actually almost practicing this Pharisaic Christianity, that we're becoming this type of religious elites where we're basing on being know-it-all and acting like we know better than we're being better than everybody else instead of being gracious and humbling ourselves? That's the question I pose to a lot of us today. But lastly, I also want to say is, which son are you today as men? Which son are you? Are you the son in the pig pen? Your sin is visible and you're afraid of coming to the Father because you're afraid of condemnation, afraid of guilt, not knowing that you can be redeemed. Or are you the son in the house, which I propose a lot of us Christians today in the church today are, that most of us today, that we're aiming to be the other brother in the home, where we're being resentful to people coming and saying, why is the Father, welcoming this person whose sin is visible, right, in the pig pen eating filth, not knowing that we must be we're also full of pride from time to time, envy, jealousy in the church. And that's why a lot of people don't want to come to the church today, because they see a lot of hypocrites. Even as a Christian myself today, I see it, and it's disappointing because we must be better to hold to a higher standard. Now, and this is also what non-believers, what you might hold us to a standard too. Call out the hypocrites in the church. Because we may be held to the highest standard, they were supposed to be gracious people. I don't understand today why we don't want to put ourselves in this context. We're afraid of not being viewed as perfect. There's only one person that was perfect. That was the Creator. But yet today, we want to be perfect for what? For social, being put on a pedestal in the social hierarchy of power. Where do you think cults come from? They want to be like-minded by other people so they can, grow up and to be higher rankings than everybody else so they can control other people. I.e. leaders over someone you lead, controlling everything they do. You see a lot of this in the westernized church today, and it's a shame because we shouldn't be held to a higher standard. And this is one thing I say: which son are you? Are you the son in the pig pen eating filth? Are you the son in the home, also lost? And that's where I propose today. Thank you guys for watching this video. This is not going to be a very long one. And I'll be coming back doing more of these. Please let me know your feedback about this. This is one of my first times doing a video like this, and I really want to see you guys' feedback, any constructive criticism or anything like that, because as a Christian myself, I want to hold myself into why I'm holding myself accountable too, right? And I want to be better, and as I work to become the best version of myself, I want to help others become the best version of themselves too. I'm only 22 years old, and I know I have a lot to learn. But one thing that comes with that is humility. A lot of us today as men, we hold that standard where we're being humbling ourselves and basically realizing I don't have all the answers. I'm not supposed to. Depending on how old you are, I'm 22 years old. I'm not supposed to have all the answers. But I'm supposed to learn. I'm supposed to be being quiet and listening more to people that have more experience than me, so I can be better. But at the same time, I'm realizing I'm not going to be perfect 100% of the time. I need to humble myself. Obviously, there's a mental health awareness month and everything. One thing you have to realize: not being too hard on yourself. Always continually pushing yourself to be better. Beat the version of you yesterday. Continually be that. Don't try to be better than the man next to you, because eventually you start focusing on you, and you focus on your weaknesses and turn them into strengths. And also remember humbling yourself and make sure that you try and keep pushing yourself to go the extra mile than you were yesterday. Then eventually you will be better than the dude next to you. But the thing is, you aren't focusing on him. You're focusing on you. That's what the Bible talks about. We study to mind our own business. That's a lot of things. We're too focused to have our nose and everybody else but ourselves. And a lot of us Christians today, we basically don't put us to that standard. But I know we can be better. We must be better. Right? Again, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys have a very blessed day. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Again, my name is JediMike7. I'll be back with doing more content eventually. And I just want to thank you guys for your patience and your love and support. Again, my name is JediMike7. Going down the comment section below, let me know what you guys think. Until next time, I'm JediMike. Bye-bye.